Welcome to Porcelain Peak, a strange and scary podcast dissecting all things horror and sci-fi. Here are your hosts, or what's left of them, Tone, John, and Anthony. Enjoy the trivia while you can.
Hello and welcome to Season 4 of Porcelain Peak, a production of wordsforweirdos.com. This week for Chop Talk, we're going to do a little discussion on the Oscars and how you, if you're listening, how you can get a visual episode. And then for a trivia, we're going to play Pass the Popcorn, the horror edition. And for our main discussion, we are going to talk about the newly released Morbius. And for our final cut, we're going to talk about the exponentially more exciting, newly released Moon Knight. So we'll go ahead and get started right now.
Why don't you take an axe and chop it open?
Alright, so a little housekeeping before we get started. If you are listening to this, we are doing a little experiment and we are trying to do a video episode.
Yes, so much like a college freshman from a conservative household, we are experimenting.
That sounds
So
pretty good.
audio quality might be
Yeah.
audio quality might be a little different for this episode, just because as doing a dry run, it was a lot easier just to do the one microphone with all of us. All
Yeah,
of
I
us
was going to say, don't
nearby.
say dry run. I'm already thinking about chafing, and it's just like, it's a long episode. We just started.
So if this works out well, we might actually start doing this with our full regular setup and bring in the better audio equipment. But yeah, this should be really interesting. We already recorded our Patreon bonus in this format, and it was a lot of fun.
We did, yeah. Very different. We're very close. Usually we're a lot more spread out, so...
Yeah, I don't like it at all, but I'm being patient with this new setup because I want you guys to be able to have the option to see our faces, because you don't get to see them too often. We never show our faces on Instagram. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we're like Wilsons.
Yeah, we really are. We're your weird neighbor that you have conversations with.
And there's
over
the fence right there.
Yeah.
All right, well, how you guys doing?
Doing well. I mean, I just got off work, so you're getting to see me post-work, which is always fun.
And you work at Fence.
Yeah, I work at Fence. But yeah.
Defense.
Had a good day. I am currently in the running for a promotion, so I'm
shit.
working my butt off trying to make
I
sure
hope
that
you
I'm
get
trying to
it.
get that money.
Yeah, from fences to gates, you know what
Yeah.
I'm saying?
Yeah, that's awesome. I'm feeling like I'm probably going to die by the end of this episode because it's been a long-ass week, and I am tired. But... if anything was going to really spice up my mood, it was that Morbius flick that we watched.
Was it?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I'll get into it, but holy shit, if you haven't seen Morbius, you're about to have your life changed. And we'll get a little bit more into that, but we want to talk about the Oscars a little bit?
Let's talk about the Oscars. So I guess, the one thing that everyone's talking about is what is
The
being
amazing
recalled.
speech from the actor from Coda, Troy Kotzer,
That was great.
who had a very heartfelt speech, and that's the only thing that I remember from the Oscars.
Definitely.
All right, let's skip it. Fuck it. We don't need to talk about it. But
You've seen the memes.
you have seen the memes. It was crazy. Anthony and I watched it live, and we were just like, wait, what just
I was
happened?
so happy that you were that you were also watching it live with me, because I was like, I had no one to talk to when it was happening except for you. And even like my sister and her boyfriend got home after the show had happened, and I could hear them talking about it out in the front room, and I was like, you think that's crazy? I was watching that shit live.
I saw it happen. So one thing that we like to do is we do ballots, and then we crown a winner. And this year, along with the Emmeline Sasheen Gaynor Award,
Yeah, this year we decided that
spicing it up.
we weren't gonna we decided we're gonna not give the award because
Oh, okay. News to me.
yeah. Go ahead, let them know how it turned out.
I won by a hair. I got
yeah.
18. Anthony got 17. The one that really fucked you was makeup and hairstyling. The eyes of Tammy Faye really got to you.
I know,
buddy.
and I was so pissed when I saw that because I didn't even remember marking Cruella for that category. And as soon as they brought up the category, in my head I was like, "Oh, Tammy Faye's gonna win this one." And I looked at my ballot and I was like, "Oh fuck, I goofed."
You done did goof.
Yeah.
And John got a gentleman's 8.
I've watched like 4 of the
That's
movies.
fair. Anthony and I
total.
did go pretty hard on
Yeah,
this.
yeah.
on this
I mean,
year's.
I knew for sure that I wasn't going to win. I just threw guesses in there. I was shocked that Dune won so many. And
Right,
Very
so-
surprised and very glad for that.
Let's run through the things that Dune won, since that is directly related to the show. We got original score, which I'm
Totally
not fucking
deserves it.
surprised. Yeah, cinematography.
Deserves it,
Sorry. Yeah. I just didn't mark cinematography. Sorry. And then editing,
Yeah.
Yep.
production design,
Hell yeah.
sound,
Basically all of the technical
and
awards.
visual effects.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much what I said about the movie. Is I was like, I don't think it's going to win Best Picture, but it's probably the best made movie I've seen in a really long time in terms of just technical aspects, like the amount of work that went into that, and then watching interviews with Hans Zimmer talking about how they just invented instruments out of PVC pipe and like stitching together other instruments because they wanted it to sound like an alien orchestra.
Yeah.
It's so cool, and so I was even more hyped for it to win all the awards that it won. Denis got so many shout outs for someone who didn't actually win the award, but
Yeah.
I don't know how he didn't get a nom for Best Director. I mean, I still think that it would have went the way that it went.
yeah.
But one thing that I will mention about that too, if you are super into the music, Mondo has the soundtrack on vinyl, and then also like a sketchbook that has ideas and I guess Hans getting to what the soundtrack became.
That's cool.
And the regular one is gold. It looks pretty dope.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's all I kind of want to say about that. The other shit, you guys know what happened.
Yeah. Did you have any news, John?
Yeah, so they just announced that apparently HBO Max has a Welcome to Dairy prequel for it. That's
And that's where
the
milk
works.
comes from, right?
Yeah.
Is that we're going to learn? We're going to see the cows getting their titties rocked.
milk lemonade.
Yeah, so apparently it's supposed to be like pre the Losers Club.
I think it's like in the 50s, right?
Yeah, and like kind of like in like the first few like instances of Pennywise.
But it is supposed to be
causing
directly
havoc.
related to those two movies?
I believe so. Yes.
That's cool.
The other thing is that Netflix, in partnership with the rest of the creators for Umbrella Academy, have changed the gender for Elliot Page's character, and is
Yeah,
now
it's
named
Victor, right?
Now named Victor.
What was the name before?
Vanya.
Yeah.
Oh,
so,
okay.
So he is now Victor. So
Cool.
Expect that in the next season, which I think that's super cool, very inclusive.
Yeah, speaking of Elliot Page being at the Oscars and having that little Juno reunion,
Yeah.
that was one of the things that I really liked about this Oscar show was the little reunion stuff. Even though like it was kind of awkward seeing just really how old is dirt Francis Ford Coppola, Robert De Niro, and Al Pacino are, and the fact that Robert De Niro wasn't in the original Godfather, and he was still there was like, well, we can't get Marlon Brando, and he played the same character, so
Yeah.
But I liked those reunion things because to me the show should be about like, if you love film, here's the people from Pulp Fiction, a movie that everybody loves, and they did a great bit with it. But anyway, it was nice to see Elliot Page, and he did an interview where he said that he was so excited because he got to wear a suit for the first time to the Oscars, and he said it was the most comfortable he's ever been, like, you know, at one of those
fantastic.
awards things. So super happy to hear that. Speaking of Bill Skarsgård, though, and Pennywise, Bill Skarsgård is now attached to our 100th version of The Crow that's supposed to be happening. That just got announced today. Yesterday, I believe, was the anniversary of Brandon Lee's passing. Very tragic, but yeah, I guess that's why they just decided to announce that the director of, let me pull it up real quick, because it was something that I was like, yeah.
Stalling. We're
Yeah,
stalling.
Rupert Saunders. Oh, Rupert Saunders. This is the director of Snow White and the Huntsman and Ghost in the Shell, the one that Kristen
Yeah.
Stewart cheated on Robert Pattinson with.
Yeah.
So he
Ties
will-
it back to Batman, which ties it to Morbius. It's just a full circle in here.
Yeah, so
Fuck that guy, though.
Yeah, so Bill Skarsgård is the Crow. I do have a couple other small bits of news. I did see, I don't have many details on this, but Freddy's back. Apparently a new Nightmare on Elm Street movie is officially in the works. I don't know anything beyond that, but we talk a lot about how Nightmare has kind of fallen behind in terms of getting ever since its terrible reboot that they had a few years ago. It was like 2010, right? It was a while
Yeah.
ago.
10 or 11.
And it's still bad. I was hoping maybe rewatching it like we did with Friday the 13th that I would be like, okay,
Yeah.
I find some qualities in here. Nope.
Nope.
Horse shit.
And then the last bit of news that I had was Adam Wingard and co. put out The Guest 2 score. It's a complete score for a movie that does not exist. So it's on Spotify. I was listening to it on the way here, and it is fucking hot fire.
Ooh.
Is that mean that we're gonna get one?
Well, it's kind of crazy because as you're going through the tracks, it's set up so to be basically like, well, I can't see them here, but it's like scenes. They're named after like a scene of something. It's like David versus blah 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 blah, and it has poster art like made up for the guests too. And so I don't know if that means we're getting another guest movie, but kind
Cool
of
way to do like a
cool way to
viral
do
marketing.
yeah, exactly, because the music was probably, besides Dan Stevens, my favorite part of the guest. So I was listening to it, and it's that 80s synthwave, like really dirty John Carpenter type stuff.
Yeah.
So I would highly recommend checking it out. Not available on Apple Music, unfortunately, but if you have Spotify, check that out. And that's about all I have for the news.
Cool. That will wrap it up for Chop Talk. We'll go ahead and get started with some trivia.
That Christmas house of wax, the fog, piranha. It's one of those, right? Right?
John Jacob Jigsawheimer Schmidt, sing us a trivia song.
That was pretty great.
Thanks.
I don't know how I'm gonna follow that.
Where he goes out.
So just specifically based on the format change here, your trivia tune this week is trivia.
Video killed the radio star.
Killed
Yeah,
the
that is.
podcast stars.
Yep, it is.
What's the group?
I don't know.
Oh, all right.
I don't fucking know.
You half-asser. All right. You want to do 6 rounds?
I'm good with
However we did it last time, right? That worked, right?
Okay. So this is past the popcorn. There's an opportunity for 5 points if I give out the year and the category or the genre. That you can get 5 points. Every clue after that is reduced a point. And this is specifically the Thrills and Chills edition.
So, yeah, I'll have to keep that in mind because I remember last time I was guessing, I think I guessed like Wayne's World for one of them.
Yes.
So, yeah, I'll keep in mind that it's Thrills and Chills.
Okay, let me just get a little box here.
We're stalling for the video.
No, that's all good. We're good.
Stalling for the video.
John, I'm going to read to you. You can read to Anthony. And Anthony, you can read back to me. And the first question here, John, is a 1988 fantasy.
88 fantasy. Let's not get too crazy. I'll take the first clue.
All right, that is... What the fuck are these clues? A scene. An obnoxious ghost shows off his ability to spin his head around. Is that how we did it last time?
What are you doing with the titles?
Seeing what the names of the categories are.
Oh.
Obnoxious ghost spins head around. Shit.
1988.
So it'll be scene, characters, quote, story, right?
Yeah.
That's the play. Go ahead and give me one more.
Okay, I'm going to give you the characters here. Adam and Barbara Maitland and teenager Lydia Dietz.
God damn it. That'll be one time. Only once. Beetlejuice.
That is correct.
You're right, it was Beetlejuice.
God damn it.
For 3 points.
Anthony, yours is a 2007 horror film.
2007. I think I was still scared of scary movies at that point.
Well, you were like 4.
That's not true.
You're like, not true at all. You're like,
But
I was
I'm
horror.
fine with letting the audience believe that I'm that young. Go ahead and give me the first clue.
A man has a flashback about his family while hanging by his feet in a snare trap.
A flashback about his family while hanging in a snare trap. Damn, yeah, I have no clue. Give me the characters.
Will Smith as NYC survivor Robert Neville. Sam, the
Legend.
German. Yep, it is I Am Legend.
You can already tell this is going to go very poorly for me.
All right.
I should have gotten that. All right. Tone, for your first one, you have a 1986 comedy.
Comedy.
I will take a scene, sir.
A dentist uses laughing gas on himself before gleefully picking up his drill for a root canal.
God, that sounds so familiar.
Great scene. With a great actor.
I'm drawing a blank here. I'll take the characters. Wow, we are starting off shitty.
Yeah. It's because we wasted all of our trivia powers on those
Those beautiful quizzes.
movie
Jared
game.
Leto.
Yeah, and Jared Leto. Scene, quote, characters.
Green.
Green. Rick Moranis as Seymour Krelborn.
Oh.
Dentist Oren Scrivello.
Come
Is
on.
that Little Shop of Horrors?
It is Little Shop of Horrors.
All right. Well, at the end of round 1, we're all sitting at 3. Not a great round for us, guys.
Yeah, well, we still got a million more to go, so.
Okay, John, your next is a 1987 sci-fi movie.
87 sci-fi.
1987.
I'll go ahead and take the scene.
Your scene, sir. An alien hunter tears the spine out of a freshly killed victim to serve as a trophy.
I lost my spine.
Spinal. Yeah, you could say his back is broken.
Is it better to lose the point or to lose the whole thing if I fuck it up?
It's real catch 69.
He said it's an alien hunter?
An alien hunter.
Predator.
That is the correct answer for 4 points.
I'll take it.
That's the Harvey Weinstein movie, right?
Ooh.
I'd say topical, but it's like that was like 2017, bro. That's old news.
Anthony, yours is a 1968 thriller.
68?
68 thriller.
Damn.
Wonder who directed it.
Could have added another year to that. Would have been nicer. Give me the scene.
A young woman passes out after eating chocolate mousse brought over by her neighbor.
Ooh, not what I was expecting.
Yeah.
May I see?
How the fuck do you eat an entire chocolate mousse?
Oh. How do you eat a whole pecan pie? You just do.
It can't be done. Fuck. Wait, so what was the category again?
Thriller, 68 is the year.
68 thriller.
Sounds like a model of a car.
Yeah.
68 thriller!
Go ahead and give me the characters. I have no clue.
Mia Farrow as Mrs. Woodhouse, obstetrician Dr. Saperstein.
Rosemary's Baby.
It is Rosemary's Baby.
Forgot she ate a moose in that movie. An entire chocolate mousse.
I've never seen it, so.
It's a good one. Finally got around to it, I think, last year. Tone, you have a 2010 horror film.
I will take a scene.
A man wakes up under a tree to find himself covered in blood and his father watching him. These scenes are pretty vague, as opposed to like slash cards where it just says the name of the movie in the description.
Yeah, literally everyone.
Is that the Wolfman?
It is the Wolfman.
Nice job.
Congratulations.
Nice job.
All right. At the end of round 2, John and I are ahead by 1, and Anthony is at 6 points. John, your next question here is a 1980 thriller.
80 thriller. I'm going to go ahead and take the scene.
A little boy with psychic powers sees blood pouring out of a hotel elevator.
That would be The Shining.
That is correct, sir, for another 4 points.
Yeah, we definitely don't want to get sued now that we're on video, too.
I know, right?
On video. I probably already got away with too much with those songs.
Your next one is a 2002 horror film.
Give me the scene.
A man watches a videotape depicting a long-haired young woman crawling out of a well.
Ring-a-ding-ding, that's the ring.
It is indeed The Ring.
Nice.
I
For
just-
foursies?
I just watched the Goo. The Ring Goo.
The Goo.
I just called it the Goo for short, yeah.
The Goo.
Tone, you have a 1971 horror film.
Ooh, okay. I'll take a scene.
A killer drips honey onto a sleeping woman, then releases locusts to devour her.
Aw, you got honey on my legs. What year was it?
1971. You got locusts in my honey.
Ooh, I don't know
You
this.
got honey in my locusts.
You guys ever had it like a candy cricket? You know how they put like crickets or whatever?
I know what
did
you're talking
once.
about.
I think I
I've
did
never had
once.
one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like a chocolate covered.
Have you guys? All right, well, you did.
I haven't. I wouldn't be opposed to it though because they're high in protein and it's supposed to be the way of the future, like in Snowpiercer, where they find out that all their high
There's-
protein food is
It's better
crushed
to
bugs.
go that route than Soylent Green.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Or Sluggo. Isn't that Futurama where it's just like snail trail?
yeah.
Or whatever. Anyway, there's restaurants, I think, in New York that are doing it. Like
Crickets.
they're bugs in general.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'll take characters.
Your characters are Dr. Anton Phoebus and his assistant Volnavia.
What?
School me?
Oh.
I think we're gonna see the score tide shift on this one.
The Abominable Dr. Fibes?
It is the Abominable Dr. Fives.
Is it Fibes or Phoebus?
I just said Phoebus. I don't know.
Oh.
I know about as much about the movie as you do.
All right.
Take your 3. You earned it.
Cool. So, John's in the lead by 1, and Anthony and I are tied now. This is a 2007 horror film, John.
2007 horror. I will take a scene.
A giant tentacle pulls a stock boy off a loading dock.
Oh, I know this. I know this one.
See, in this instance, I feel like the quote would have been the hardest one. Because that would have been enough for me.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to remember.
We're just a hell of a lot smarter than John is.
I just had to put it together. It's The Mist.
That is correct, sir. Good job.
I almost missed it.
Beat me to the joke.
Hurry up.
So dumb. Ugh. Yours is a 1986 horror film.
Give me the scene, please.
It is a zombie dog causes a bus to crash, then infects all its occupants.
Ooh.
A zombie dog. And what was the year?
60. Or no, sorry. It is 86.
86.
Wanted to make sure that I fully reset your brain on that.
That is what I thought.
Can you give me the characters?
Hard-boiled cop Ray Cameron, college boys Chris and JC, like some sort of Shazay.
Like a lounge?
I don't know. I'm just going to guess Return of the Living Dead 2.
Oh, it's Night of the Creeps.
Damn. Yeah, the zombie dog I did not remember at all.
Yeah, the tagline is, the good news is, your dates are here. Bad news is, they're dead.
Of course it fucking is. Tone, you got a 1988 Monster Mash.
We did the Monster Mash.
I'll take a scene, please.
A man digs up a disfigured corpse in a pumpkin patch.
Is that Pumpkinhead?
It is indeed Pumpkinhead.
All right. 4 for me?
Yep.
Okay, so John's in the lead, I'm 1 behind, and then Anthony is in 3rd, bud.
Gosh darn.
Okay, we got 2 more for you guys. This one, John, is a 1991 thriller.
91 thriller. Okay. Go ahead and give me the scene.
A serial killer stalks a woman through his dark basement using night vision goggles.
Oh, hell yeah.
Oh, God.
Afterwards, they do the mash.
The Monster Mash?
Yeah. It was a...
Graveyard Smash?
That's correct, yeah.
How are you guessing what... Did you guys rehearse this?
That's crazy, yeah. Really weird.
Oh, shit. So, night vision goggles, 91 thriller.
Kevin's like, I know this one.
Yeah, so I don't remember if we said it at the top of the show, but we were in a living room common space doing the video portion at least. So if you do hear guests, then
Dogs.
you know now. You're warned.
Yeah. Go ahead and give me the characters.
Okay. Let's see, the Crypt Keeper. Jodie Foster as Clarice Starling and Dr. Hannibal Lecter.
Silence of the Lambs.
Silence of the Mash.
The Monster Mash.
That is correct for 3 points, John.
Yeah, that scene always...
I should have gone with...
Yeah, he's following her with the night vision, and there's the moths all over the place.
Yeah,
the
I
death's head moths.
should have gone with my
Gives me the
gut.
heebity-jeebities.
Anthony, yours is a 96 thriller.
Okay, go ahead and give me the scene.
A ghostly drill sergeant opens fire on a ghost known as the Reaper.
What was the year?
96.
I think I know.
Is it 13 Ghosts?
It's The Frighteners.
Yeah, I don't know.
Oh.
I've never seen Frighteners. What was your guess going to be?
Ghost of Mars.
No. So I am just terrible at this game. I'm just bad with dates.
It's funny because the last time we played this, we were like,
Yeah, just over here dropping fives.
Yeah.
It's something about the new feng shui
Yeah.
of this setup. It's throwing me off my game, but that's all right. Tone, you have a 1984 comedy.
I will take a scene, sir.
A gigantic marshmallow man attacks New York City. I was really hoping you would just go for it with 1984 comedy, but
Ghostbusters.
It does make you feel
Bustin' makes us feel good.
It makes me feel fucking great.
good. Tie game?
Yes, we
Second
are
one.
now tied, and Anthony is trailing behind by a few here.
Snail trailing.
And this is the last one, John, so you better make it count, buddy. 1999 Thriller.
I don't think I can just rip that one. Give me the scene.
Okay. Film students walking through the woods find figures made of sticks tied to tree branches.
I'm glad I didn't rip it, because that's not a thriller. That's a fucking horror movie. That is The Blair Witch Project.
That is correct.
Was
See,
the bear bitch project or the bear witch project?
The Bear Tits Project.
I saw one that was the Bear Wench Project or something.
Okay.
I mean, allegedly.
Allegedly.
But the quote, I feel like, would have been the harder one, so maybe we get to pick and choose next time.
Is it tell me where you are, Josh?
It's, I'm afraid to close my eyes. I'm afraid to open them.
I would have gotten that, but I've seen the Blair Witch Project like 24 times at this point, so.
So what'd you get, 3? 4?
4.
444. 44.
Anthony, 1984 fantasy.
For legal help. 1984 fantasy?
84 fantasy. Let me get a peeky.
Let me get a Porcelain Peak.
Go ahead and give me the scene.
A woman kills a small creature by pushing it into a food
Gremlins.
processor. It is indeed Gremlins.
Fantasy?
I knew it was Gremlins immediately, and I was like, but I don't know if I would classify this as fantasy.
I
but
don't
yeah.
think that I would either, but...
So you'll take a 4 on that.
Okay. I gotta get a 4? Right?
You got to get a 4 to keep it going. A 5 is a win.
Whew, alright.
You got this.
Okay.
You can rock this without the scene. 1963 thriller.
1963?
Mm-hmm.
I want to, but I really don't know, so I'll have to take a scene.
The scene is hundreds of blackbirds perched
Fuck,
on
I
a jungle
knew it was
gym
the
outside
birds,
an
too.
elementary
That's,
school.
and that's what I was going with. The birds.
It is the
Even though you
birds.
just told me.
I mean,
I knew it was the birds, too.
Yeah.
Yeah, your reaction obviously said, it's funny because all of these, like, as soon as you get to the scene, we're all just like, oh my god.
Yeah, I know. That's why sometimes I think we should do quote, but we'll have to fucking play with it. Because other times, like, your dates are here or whatever, that's hell easy.
I'm just bad with dates. I mean, any ex-girlfriend can tell you that.
So do we want to do head to head, or do we want to do
Yeah. And then,
So is it just going to be first person to guess it?
yeah, but we'll just go ahead and do, you could tell us the thing and then say done, and if we want to guess, we can guess.
yeah.
Okay.
Just the date and stuff.
Your tiebreaker is 1983 horror film.
Okay. We'll go ahead and do scene, but say done.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Your scene is a driverless car wedges itself down a narrow alley to crush a bully to death. Done.
Christine.
Fuck, man. All right.
Let's flip it over and go. Ooh, I'm so happy about this. 2004 horror.
Shit.
Saw.
It is not.
Oh, no! You get a freebie!
I'll take a scene.
Your scene is a lone spider leaps from the jungle onto an insect hunter's knapsack.
Ooh.
2004 horror. I mean, can't he just ask for... I mean, wouldn't he just win if he keeps asking and guesses as he goes?
Yeah, technically.
That feels so shitty, though.
That's the game, though. I shouldn't have said anything if I didn't know.
Yeah,
I
you
was
were
trying to-
overconfident.
Give me the
I was
characters.
trying to dick you down.
Yeah, give
The
me
characters are Jeff Daniels as Dr. Ross Jennings, Exterminator Delbert
This is
McClintock.
wrong.
Yeah, you said 2004, right?
Yeah,
It's
that's-
1990. It's
Yeah.
Arachnophobia.
Yeah, it is Arachnophobia. Yeah, see, I didn't. That's when I looked at this, I was like, "What the fuck?" I didn't know that came out in 2004. Did Eight-Legged Freaks come out in 2004?
I know. I think it came out in the 90s too.
Well, let's just do another one then.
Yeah,
that was
that
obviously
feels shitty.
broken.
Okay.
Like I said, I'm 100%.
Well, I think I told you guys before we started playing. There's one that's wrong. That's the one that I'm like, wait, what the fuck? Okay.
We always find at least one in any of these trivia games.
Yeah, because we just know so much.
And we should sue for our money back. All right, you guys. 2007 horror film. Got any guesses?
I mean, I have plenty of guesses. You know what I mean? I guess we're going to have to do a scene, brother.
Yeah.
All right, remember, I got to say done.
Okay.
The scene is a woman with a machine gun for an artificial leg uses it to shoot zombies. Done.
Planet Terror?
It is Planet Terror.
I
Anthony
was
wins the game.
I was trying to switch between two. I was like, don't say Death Proof. Don't say Death Proof.
Yeah, I always get them mixed up.
Yeah.
What was on the back? Swamp Thing? Fuck it.
Yeah, I wanted the game to end, so I went with the easier one as the first option.
Oh, all right. Well, hey, good game, John.
Yeah, congrats, man.
Yeah, that was fun.
That is going to wrap it up for trivia. If you want to see more trivia, then you can do that on Patreon, and John will tell you more about it.
So if you head on over to patreon.com/Porcelain Peak, you can get hours and hours of additional bonus content like our bonus episodes that we do every single week where we give each other trivia quizzes. This week I did vampire movie game. Anthony did a vampire music quiz.
That was fun.
Which is a lot of fun. And then the other Anthony also did a Jared Leto career quiz, which was a ton of fun. Get out of there.
Surprisingly.
Yeah. For $10 a month, you can get our Slash a Piece Theater commentary tracks, which we are also doing on Twitch now, which was a ton of fun. But basically, it allows us to watch a movie. We talk over the top of it, like Mystery Science Theater kind of style. And we have a blast making fun of often terrible movies. For that tier, you also get access to a print that you get every single month as designed by Anthony Silva. There were 2 prints for March, so if you are already enjoying those things, hope you really dug those prints. One of them is super cool. It's like a Andy Warhol inspired print, which I really enjoyed. And then for $20 a month, you can join our producer tier, which gives you the ability to get early access to our episodes, gives you the ability to get a shirt every 6 months, and it also gives you the ability to help us come up with ideas for the show, and you get a producer credit for the show.
Yeah, so just to reiterate, that is patreon.com/porcelainpeak. We'll take a short little break, and then we'll be right back with our main discussion.
And now, a word from our sponsors.
Hey, Tone, what's that you're drinking?
Oh, this is a nice tall mug full of mud water.
What in the Sam Hain? Sam Hain is mud water.
Mud water is an all-natural coffee alternative that has immune benefits and helps with sustained focus without the jitters and crash of coffee.
What's in it? What's it taste like? What's the deal?
It's made from chai, cacao, reishi, cinnamon, and more, and tastes like a chocolatey chai.
How often do you drink it?
I personally use it every day, and as you creeps know, I'm pretty sensitive to caffeine.
I once saw you look at an energy drink and you stayed up all night.
That's a true story. But I can have mud water in the morning, in the afternoon, and in the early evening without feeling anxious, weird, or having trouble sleeping.
Whether you're running around Crystal Lake, pulling a blanket over your eyes, or stressing on which episode of Porcelain Peak to listen to next, Mudwater has your back when the going gets tough.
As Tone mentioned, mud water contains reishi, which has been used in Chinese medicine for over 2,000 years and nicknamed the mushroom of immortality. As a key ingredient in mud water, reishi will give you added support for your capacity to handle stress while supporting a healthy immune response.
Check out our affiliate link in the show notes to get mud water, creamer, sweetener, even a frother if you're feeling froggy, or go for the starter kit like I did, which includes a killer recipe booklet.
That's mudwtr.com, or use the link in our show notes to help out your favorite podcasters.
Hey, you want to see something really scary?
This week we are talking about the Sony Pictures, in association with Marvel to some extent, Morbius, which stars Jared Leto and Matt Smith.
And criminally, Jared Harris, who is a fantastic actor and is, as most things were in this movie, completely Amazing. I
Amazing.
fucking loved this movie. Guys, tell me your favorite part of Morbius. Just right off the top of your head. If you can remember anything from that movie, tell me what your favorite part was.
When it
The
ended.
ending.
The credits.
when she walked through the city in a Canadian tuxedo.
Yeah. That was also my favorite part. Yeah.
Well, there was that scene where that woman was walking down the street in that green hoodie.
Yeah, I remember
All
that.
slashed on the back, and you saw a whole ass, no underwear, and then snatched from the front.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And high heels, too.
Yeah, that's right.
No, that's just what we saw on McHenry Avenue when we were on our way to the theater.
Oh, yeah, no, that's just... Yeah, that's
we were
McHenry,
like-
yeah.
I was like, John, is that... Or John was like, is that whole ass? And I was like, yep, that's ass. That's no underwear.
Yeah, if I don't see just like a freaky weirdo on McHenry every day of my life, it's not Modesto.
Dude, it was something, yeah.
But yeah, so I mean, April Fools, jokes on all you guys. Morbius fucking blows. It sucks, as we vampire pundit for our episode title.
Yep.
Yeah, so
It's...
I don't think this is going to be a very long conversation because there's really not much to say about this movie. We went in with the expectation that it was going to be awful, and it's not like we were disappointed by it.
Yeah.
You know?
The problem is Jared Leto just looks like he got out of fucking emo Coachella the whole time.
Emochella.
Yeah, he just
Emochella.
performed at 30 Seconds to Mars. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hit you with a portmanteau.
And it's like a lot of the stuff in the movie is fluff. I think I told John it feels like we go in at the end of the first act,
Yeah.
and then stay for the beginning of the second, and then that's it. Like the movie doesn't have a good beginning, middle, or end. It just is kind of middle.
Yeah, and I don't know how much of this movie... I mean, I really don't think that the reason the movie... Because a lot of people are saying, oh, because it was delayed 20 times or whatever since 2020 when it was supposed to come out, that's why it sucks so bad. And I'm like, no, just watching this movie, I think it would have sucked regardless of when it came out. There probably was some editing. Obviously, the post-credit scenes were filmed way after the fact because this movie was supposed to come out before No Way Home. And we're talking spoilers, right? Just everybody, yeah. Not that anybody's going to give a shit.
That's really
but...
the only thing to spoil. Nothing even happens in this movie.
Yeah. There's literally, we could tell you the entire plot, and you could still go to this movie and be like, "What the fuck is happening?" Like you wouldn't understand. So it jumps in with some sort of scene with him at a bat cave, and then we.
Right. I want to talk about that a little bit because I felt like that was very problematic in itself because he, for the rest of the movie, is like, I care about human life. I'm not going to hurt anybody. I'm not going to do bad things because I'm a doctor, and that's part of the Hippocratic Oath, right?
Yeah, the doctorman's oath.
He cuts his hand, attracts these bats that are known to take down animals 10 times their size, while all these people are still here, instead of waiting for them to leave.
Also, I mean, not to get super nerdy about it, but vampire bats don't do that, and vampire bats are not known to do that, and they say it repeatedly in the movie that vampire bats are basically flying piranhas, which is not the case. A vampire bat will sneak up on something while it's sleeping, and like one vampire bat will kind of lick at the blood, and that's the most they do. They don't fucking swarm things in a frenzy and eat them down to the bone or whatever. So,
and then additionally,
already that I was like, scientifically inaccurate.
I thought that scene was just completely fucking useless because then
it's
when
not
we
how
get
he gets
to him
the
in
powers.
when he goes into the lab, he's like, "Oh, I got these bats from Costa Rica." It's like, okay, so why did we spend the first 10 minutes watching you do that?
It's just, and it's also packed to the gills with just more BS science. It is just awful. Like I love how like they're using like terms from like fantasy, like chimera, like in all of like the titles when they're like, oh, chimera DNA spliced successfully while 100% stable.
It feels so awkward because we've gotten to a point with like MCU movies and even DC movies where it's just like, these people have powers, we're not really going to go into why, it's just everybody has powers, it's just how it is. In this, because it's not attached to the rest of that stuff, they have to over-explain why he has the powers, and then they still don't make sense because it's like, why the fuck would vampire bat DNA make you look like sexy Jesus with a tan?
Yeah.
You know, it's like, and even the echolocation, which we made the joke about, he's going to say, oh, I got some sort of bat radar. Well, in the movie, he says echolocation or bat radar for dumbasses.
But
and
why does he say that when he's talking to himself on a recording? Which he would know. Like, who was that
Which
for?
is what I thought maybe people reacted to that line in the trailer negatively. And they, because it's ADR, obviously. He's just so they probably just had him go in and correct the line. And that's another thing is these trailers, basically everything that was in these trailers was just bait to get you to the movie, and then none of it was in the movie.
Yeah, it's wiped the
Spider-Man
slate clean.
spray paint's not there. The Venom line is only half there. The Michael Keaton obviously doesn't show up until the post-credit scenes, and those are seriously, I think, the death of post-credit scenes. I was like, these are so fucking awful.
Yeah, I have more to say about that when we get to that point. I will say that there's a ton wrong with this movie, but I did like Matt Smith's performance.
I was gonna say he is the one shining light in this movie. Is that aside from the terrible CGI and the stuff they do to his face, I was like, Matt Smith was born with that face to play a creepy vampire dude. And he kind of gets the chance to do that here. I love the scene where he was like shirtless dancing in front of the mirror and how he just gets so over the top. And it's crazy because Jared Leto is that guy. Jared Leto is the guy that brings crazy energy to whatever movie he's in. And he's known, for better or worse, to bring a crazy energy to his pictures. Why the fuck is he the most boring character in the Morbius movie? And then Matt Smith steals the show. And I was like, I love Matt Smith, but this isn't your movie.
We should have just switched him.
Well, it felt like that. It felt like they had him, Jared Leto, or Morbius in this case, be like this villain-looking person, and then Matt Smith's character, Milo?
Yeah.
Or what
Lucian?
Yeah. Be like the person you would think would be the hero. And the whole time we were watching it, I was like, I actually want to know more about you. Like, how do you have this money? I'm guessing it's from his father to some extent or something like that. Why do you have guards? That kind of thing. I was like, I want to know more about you. And I think that's a problem if that's not your main character and that's your villain.
Well, and there's a ton in the movie where they just completely skip over the most simple of just like explanations about what the fuck is happening scene to scene. The first instant that I realized it was, so we started out at the Batcave, then we go to a flashback, then we flash back to a period of time where we're not really 100% sure where it is, but he's got the bats, so I guess it's after Costa Rica. It makes for a confusing start to the movie. And then he goes to the Nobel Prize ceremony. As he's standing up to accept the Nobel Prize, the scene cuts, and then it's just his supposed maybe love interest saying, oh, I can't believe you snuffed the King of Sweden or whatever. And I was like, why did we not see him do that?
Yeah.
I was like, wait,
Well, that's the little girl, but yeah.
Yeah, the little girl. Yeah, in the hospital. And I was like, why did we not see that happen?
Which is hella weird that her hospital room is in the basement laboratory. It's like, what is this? Like, who designed any of this?
Well, and the thing is, like, so, like with Venom, they wanted to do the whole anti-hero thing. Venom can sometimes be a villain. Venom can sometimes be a good guy. Morbius is exactly the same way in the comics. Morbius, and that's what I assumed they were going for by doing this character, is Sony wanted to do these kind of anti-hero characters, and since they thought it worked so well with Venom, not in my opinion, I don't think either of those movies are good, but I was like, cool, we're going to get to explore like the monster inside of Morbius, but he pretty much immediately, as soon as he gets the vampire disease, goes, no, I'm a good guy and I can't hurt anybody. And I'm like, there's no tension, because as much as he just narrates the whole time that, oh, well, when I run out of artificial blood, things are going to get hairy, it never happens in the movie, and so there's literally no payoff to that at all, to where it's like, okay, I want to see him cut loose and start fucking people up. And you see that in the very beginning, sort of, in the dark on the ship. But as soon as they went out on that ship and there were like 10 unnamed mercenary guys, I was like, oh, you're bags for when he turns into a vampire.
Also, just to talk about the action in general, since you brought up an action scene, holy fucking shit, this is worse. We watched Catwoman for...
I was going to say, it reminded me a lot of Catwoman.
Just how every scene has to be just laser cut.
And it's all these...
Nothing lasts for even a second.
The one thing that I thought was a cool idea, if it had been executed better, was that there were a lot of scenes with them where it would kind of like... Because it obviously is just doing so much of the... slow down, speed up with the action, the very like Zack Snyder kind of thing.
And the shitty like cover up all of our bad CGI squiggly lines on everything.
Yeah.
Smoke.
Well, I liked the smoke effects being different colors because it added at least a little bit of color to the movie that was pretty drab outside of that. And I did like when they would freeze frame during some sort of motion and you see Morbius with his claws out. It looked like a splash page from a comic. And I was like, if your entire movie was stylized like that and everything looked like splash pages from comics, I think that's a super cool way to do it. And the director obviously had some sort of knowledge of at least covers to Morbius comics to emulate in a lot of these scenes. But Morbius is supposed to be a complex character, and you learn nothing about his character besides he has a disease and you're supposed to feel sorry for him because of that.
You don't even know what it is.
Yeah.
What's really going on. Like,
rare blood disease.
Yeah, but we don't actually know.
Stick it to the moon. Neosis.
Well, and they even have you were talking about shitty science. I mean, there actually is a medication that was designed from the saliva of vampire bats in real life that acts as an anticoagulant for people who have had strokes. And so there's real science behind some of the stuff that they talk about in here. Obviously not, you're going to get fucking crazy Also, echolocation does not mean that you can just hear shit wherever you want across the city. The echolocation is you bounce sound off of things, and you can tell where objects are in the room.
Well, they make an echo, and I will locate them. Is basically the definition.
Yeah, I was like, if you were really echolocatting, like real people do in real life, because there are blind people who learn to like semi-echolocate.
Yeah,
you have to walk around going.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have to make noise, and he just stands there, and I'm like, are you farting? Like, is that the noise that's like he's just crop dusting across New York?
I was gonna say the smoke reminded me of the Harry Potter movies.
Yeah. When they grab each other and start flying together, and they start flying around.
I was like, oh, okay, so we've seen this. Did Yates do this?
Well, that's how much it felt like a movie that came out 20 years ago. Like
even the CGI.
Yeah.
Old. Yeah.
Well, because it felt like it would be perfectly comfortable next to one of the Blade movies, which makes sense because those characters in the comics, Blade is turned into Blade by Morbius. Like their characters are connected, and Morbius actually shows up in a deleted scene from the original Blade movie.
That's cool.
Yeah, I mean he's like up on a building and you can't really see him, but that was also a shame because I was like, I would like if the MCU took Morbius and had him in there because they're doing Blade. And so I'm like, well, these characters are probably not going to meet, but who fucking knows now? Because
who knows? Yeah. So the lighting was really bad in this too.
You couldn't see like the scenes where they go to meet with the doctor who's like giving them like the blood transfusions and stuff. He goes to meet up with him, and he's been like slashed, and he's been left for dead. Like they go up to him, and you can barely see anything. Everything is just washed out. It's all just like background colors and stuff, and nobody is the focal point, which is it's awful to look at. It's like you couldn't have fucking paid a VFX artist to just give a little color to somebody, or paid a lighting person to turn on a light.
They kill him, right? And then what? A minute, 2 minutes later, they kill the love interest.
Yeah.
Like, are we supposed to care about either of these two characters?
Yeah, it's like that movie can't decide if she's supposed to be a love interest until literally the last second, and then she is killed immediately. And it's like, what the fuck was that about?
But that inspired us to kiss during the movie. Yeah,
it was
wow, I'm really bummed. Happy I wasn't there, but I didn't want to, because I would have wanted to intrude and get in on it.
Yeah.
And
that's weird.
Yeah, something that I thought was an even bigger waste. I mean, this whole movie just felt like... Just because we're on video doesn't mean you guys need to do stuff like that. Okay, it makes me uncomfortable. Because I'm left out. So the PG-13 rating in this movie, like, just wrecked it. Because I was like, are you telling me that this... So there's one scene, I think, in the movie where there's blood, and it's when one of the characters gets... Yeah, slashed. Yeah, when the guy gets slashed.
Yeah, the guy
blood.
you mentioned.
Yeah.
I forget his name. Eric something? Matt something? Was it?
Matt Smith?
No, the other one.
Oh, Jared Harris?
Yeah,
there you go.
Yeah, when Jared Harris gets slashed, there's blood on his stomach, but outside of that, everything is in shadow, so you can never see him being a fucking vampire. And that's the movie, is that he's a vampire. And he's constantly like, blood, blood. And even when he drinks the blood, they make sure that he's just like, for whatever reason, just shotgunning artificial blood so that you can't see it, out of these like white packages where you can't even see that there's blood inside. And it's like they were so afraid to put blood in a vampire movie that I was like, then what was the fucking point of making this movie? Because I saw a lot of potential in the Morbius character in this, because I was like, yes, the idea of a living vampire, like he makes that joke when she tries to trick him into getting into the sun to get the coffee, and he goes like, tss, and he's like, not that kind of vampire. I like the idea of like he has vampire powers, but he's not, and he has to drink blood, but he doesn't have all the weaknesses of a vampire. You can do a lot of cool stuff with that.
Because of I guess Leto, and maybe with her, that actress specifically, the lack of chemistry, and he just was
they had chemistry, like, in the lab.
Yeah, but that, and he's just not charismatic in any way, that the scenes where that's a funny joke fell completely flat in our theater. Mm-hmm. We got one laugh when Matt Smith was dancing from a few people, and I was like, okay. And then one other one, some lady in the back was like, eh. Well, but other than that, completely silent basically the whole movie.
The one scene where I was like, okay, if the whole movie had been this, if this was the whole bit, then I think it would have been great, was when he, for whatever reason, sees these guys with counterfeit money and thinks I can transform their illegal printing press into a fake blood machine. It makes no fucking sense. So he goes in there, and there's a pretty fun scene where he starts naming all the bones in the guy's hand and starts breaking them one by one, and then as the guy's taking off, he's like, hey, it's going to be 6 to 8 weeks of rest and some ibuprofen on that, and you'll be fine. if his whole bit had been, I'm going to fuck you up, but also give you medical advice because I'm a doctor and I care about you, that would have been hilarious. And I think that Jared Leto could have pulled that off so well because he's just a weird guy. And like it kind of shocked me that as someone who is notorious for being like really picky about what parts he takes, and he's like, oh, so dedicated to his parts, I was like, how much effort did you put into this role? None, obviously.
Yeah.
You were just like, I look like the character, so I'm going to be cast in this because people know Jared Leto.
Pretty much.
And for whatever reason, Sony was like, who's everyone's favorite comic book character actor? Jared Leto, obviously. Everybody loves him in his other comic book movie. So we'll put him in this.
He's fucked up DC and Marvel movies.
Yeah, the meme of Darth Maul where it's like one saber is out and it says Jared Leto, and then it says worst DC movie, and then the other one comes out and it says worst Marvel movie.
Oh my God.
It's fucking...
Is that a thing that's happening right now?
Yeah, I'll show
That's
you.
great.
I'll pull it up
Well,
right
why
now.
don't you, before you do that, get into some of the deleted scenes. Or not the deleted, the
post-credits?
Yeah.
So one of the post-credits, we find out apparently that woman is alive.
Mm-hmm.
She just goes,
And she's a vampire lady now.
Yeah, she's a vampire lady.
Morbi bust.
Yeah. And then the other one, I don't know if I fucking understand it. Fucking Michael Keaton.
So we get
Gets
this big
pulled
purple
through.
crack in the sky from No Way Home.
Yeah.
If you saw No Way Home, that's why this scene makes no fucking sense, because the idea was that everybody who knows Peter Parker is Spider-Man is getting pulled into the MCU.
So why would Adrian
he go
Toomes
over
get
to
moved?
this universe? And then he shows up and he's just like, well, hope the food's better in this place.
On top of it, we see from the MCU stuff, including the Sony scene, that whoever got pulled in got pulled back.
Yeah.
And he doesn't.
Yeah.
And then in this universe, you're telling me there's a weird dude in San Francisco. Now you got a weird dude in New York. Is it New York?
Mm-hmm.
And this guy magically shows up in a cell, and you're like, yeah, let's let him out.
Well, and in an era where there hasn't been like the Chitauri attack on New York, how does he build his
Yeah, there's
gear?
never been an Avengers, so there's never been a Chitauri attack, so how the fuck did he make almost the exact same Vulture suit in whatever amount of time that was supposed to be? And also, Morbius goes through the whole movie going, I'm a good guy, I'm a good guy, I'm a good guy, and then when he meets up with Adrian, he's like, we should team up. And he says, do good, but I'm like, really? Like, why would you have any interest in teaming up with this guy? Like, it's obviously their very lazy way of... Yeah, that's good. It's obviously their very lazy way of setting up a Sinister Six movie.
Is that what they're trying to do? So
well, because Aaron Taylor
failed again.
Johnson's Kraven is the next one of these movies we're getting.
Kraven? What is
Kraven
that?
the Hunter, another Spider-Man villain that's going to be in a movie that's not going to have Spider-Man in it. So Sony originally was given the opportunity, and I think they really fucked themselves hard, but we lucked out on it as an audience because they were given the opportunity to basically buy all of Marvel's characters at one point, and they were like, nobody gives a fuck about anybody but Spider-Man. So they just took Spider-Man and his characters. But that fucked them because now, like we'll be talking about in our final cut, we're getting fucking Moon Knight on Disney Plus. Like, they're taking the obscure characters with the MCU and making them awesome. And then Sony over here is taking all of these potentially great classic
Like
Spider-Man
top-tier
villains
characters.
and just trashing them completely. And then in the MCU movies, we get this... I mean, we got Vulture and we got Mysterio, but largely we get the same villains. And I'm like, why couldn't we see Morbius in a Spider-Man movie? Why couldn't we see this version of Venom in a Spider-Man movie? And then we see the Daily Bugle in this movie. It has the same header as in the Raimi movies. So now people are like, so is this supposed to be the Raimi verse that we're in? Is this the Garfield verse? Because the director said there is a Spider-Man in this universe, which makes no goddamn sense.
Yeah, it's fucking convoluted. It doesn't make any fucking sense. I thought it was fucking awful. It was a bad time. The most fun I had was leaning over and cracking jokes every fucking 5 minutes. She walks out with a fucking Canadian tuxedo, and I was like, oh, I didn't know Eminem was going to be on the track. Denim.
Yeah. Yeah, we didn't even get a sick Morbius rap at the end.
Yeah.
It was rough. Have you guys heard of this technique they use for like focusing on tasks, like the Pomodoro technique, where you work for 25 minutes and then you get a 5-minute break?
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
I felt like that's what I needed. Like, I could watch this movie for 25 minutes and then I needed at least a 5-minute break, dude. I almost was like, should I go get a snack? Because that would give me something to do.
People were apparently walking out of some of the screenings. I saw in articles people were just getting up halfway through and walking out, and I'm like, I don't blame any of them.
Some lady two rows in front of us, because we're sitting in the handicap row because it was the only seats left, which I was shocked by. But two rows in front of us, lady just gets up in the middle, walks out. She comes back like 15 minutes later, full tub of popcorn, a drink, a snack. She just was decked out, like with like maybe 30 minutes.
She
of the
needed
movie
something
left.
to keep her going, dude.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then some dude was
Oh,
talking
yeah.
to his buddy or whatever. He's like, "Yeah, but was it worse than Jason X?" And we were walking by, and I was like, "Yes." At least Jason X was fun. Like,
This
it's
is
ridiculous.
boring, which is
Yeah.
worse than being like a Jason X fun bad movie. This is like, I was hoping that this would be so bad it was good, but I knew in my heart of hearts that because it was Sony, it was just going to be fucking boring, and that's a crime. I did find a quote on the Vox, which is a very funny review. If you want to check out the Vox review on it, they said about Morbius deciding to go all vampire DNA. It says, "No doubt turning oneself into a horrendous-looking bat person who must consume fresh human blood is arguably the biggest whoopsie that a Nobel Prize-winning doctor genius has ever committed." And I was like, yeah, that's a pretty good summary of this movie. But out of... I'm done talking about it. So out of 5...
Bags of blue fake blood.
Bags of blue fake...
Yeah.
Bear in the Big Blue House.
Yeah.
Honestly, like, I feel that I could give this movie a 0 if I was so inclined.
You have the power.
But I liked Matt Smith enough,
Yeah.
and I was interested in that and his performance because, like I said, he was charming, he was charismatic, and there was
The son
more to
kills
his
the father kind of
character.
vibe too.
Yeah, and so I will give it a 1. And I know that
Yeah.
that's low, but fuck, man.
I saw someone say that Matt Smith... I think it might have been Stuckman or Dan Murrell, but they were like, what, like, gypsy curse did Matt Smith have put on him where his TV roles are fantastic and he gets nothing but shit in movies? Because he was in Terminator Genesis also.
Oh, shit.
Yeah,
I didn't mind him in Last Night in Soho.
I forgot he was in that. And also creepy. He's a great villain, and that's why I want to see him in a good movie playing a villain. But that's what... Yeah, Last Night in Soho is an example of that.
Yeah, I think I'm same boat. I thought that Matt Smith was pretty great for what he was given. The rest of it's just pretty forgettable. I mean, I didn't like the visual style. I felt like it was just boring, and an hour and 45 minutes felt like it was like an hour and 45 minutes too long. I'm also going to be at a 1.
Yeah, I mean...
Bag of blood.
1...
Yeah, 1 blue bag of blood.
Yeah, I
Blue bag of fake blood.
I'm in the same boat in international waters doing creepy vampire experiments. 1 star, and that 1 star is Matt Smith. He was the only star in the movie,
Yep.
and he shone through all of the muck and the grime, and it made me respect him even more as a person and as an actor.
Yeah, when they asked what his pain level was, and he said 11, I was like, that was just for me.
It was just for me, I'm a Doctor Who nerd. All right. So that's Morbius. We highly recommend you don't waste your time or your money on this movie. Even if it comes to streaming, I would say don't even check it out then.
I would say wait for Tubi.
Yeah, wait
long enough
wait
for
for
it to get
Tubi
to
so the
Tubi.
ads give you 5-minute breaks during the movie. That's how to watch it.
Yeah, I think that's good advice. That's going to wrap it up for our main discussion. We'll go ahead and get started with our final cut.
What do you know? I asked for final cut, and I got it.
All right, for our final cut this week, we are talking about the new Disney Plus show, Moon Knight.
Moon Knight.
This one stars Oscar Isaac. Isaac or Isaacs?
I believe it's Oscar Isaac.
And Ethan Hawke.
Yes. And Gaspard Ulliel, who you may know as the guy who played Hannibal Lecter in Hannibal Rising, and also passed away right after being in this in a skiing accident. Yeah.
I remember hearing about that, or us talking about that at some point, actually.
Yeah, so when we see him in Moon Knight, it'll be extra tragic. But
And who does he play in Moon Knight?
he plays Midnight,
Oh,
character called Midnight, who hasn't shown up yet. So yeah, unlike a lot of the other shows, this only came out with 1 episode. I know most of the Marvel shows will come out with the first 2 episodes.
Yeah.
I think in this case they did the smart thing because, and I think Stuckman might have said this when he was reviewing it, this felt the most like a pilot out of any of the Disney Plus Marvel shows so far because it felt like they were really trying to put the pedal to the metal in this first episode.
Yeah, it's a proof of concept.
To show you that it was a cool concept that would work, unlike the other shows that are like, well, you know these characters and you know you're going to love them, so we don't really need to hook you in the first couple episodes. Like, WandaVision had the least hooking first couple episodes for a lot of people. Yeah. And this, to me, I was pissed when it got to the end. I was like, I want more.
yeah, I did too. I was actually the same thing. Wanted the 2-episode drop. So real quick, some of the behind the scenes, and I think you're gonna like this, Anthony, a lot. This is only 6 episodes. It is a miniseries, and the trio, I guess in this case, that directed it is Mohammed Diab, along with Justin Benson and Aaron Moorhead.
Yeah.
So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I was super excited. I knew that they were directing at some point in the series, and after seeing this first episode, I totally understand why. It's right up their alley. And the other guy, Mohammed, what did you say his last name was?
Oh, I passed it. Hold on.
Well,
Diab, I think.
Yeah, Mohammed Diab. He is Egyptian and wanted to bring an authenticity, and he said in interviews that he feels that most people in this part of the world, in most parts of the world, see Egypt as this still ancient, still like uncultured sort of like, like old society. And it's like, no, that the pyramids are right next to a very modern contemporary city. And so he wanted to show that the Egyptian culture is as modern as any other culture is now. And also they hired experts and Egyptologists to make sure that like the set pieces and everything were as accurate as possible, which I respect, because I feel like that probably wasn't as much the case on something like The Mummy, which we're like, oh, we love it because it's Egypt, but I doubt anything in there is accurate to actual Egyptian lore or anything like that.
Yeah, so if you don't know, real quick, this show is about Oscar Isaac's character, Stephen Grant, and then also, I guess,
Mark Spector.
Mark Spector, yeah. So the Stephen part of it is a cashier at a museum.
Yeah.
At an Egypt museum, which is really cool. And so for me, I was like, ooh, let's explore this. And then he has sleep problems, and we come to find out
he suffers from DID. So
he's having a regular old Fight Club situation.
Yeah. Well, and he's Mark, who is apparently this Moon Knight character, right? I mean, I don't know. I don't know anything about the character or the story, so all my information is just from what was in that first episode.
Which I think is honestly an awesome way to go into this show, because it feels already so different from the other Disney Plus stuff, because I was like, I already know Loki, I already know Falcon and the Winter Soldier, I already know all these people, and I'm like, yes, now you're finally starting to give me stuff that is new and interesting. And I felt, and I think I mentioned this before, that on the stream, that I felt like Oscar Isaac has kind of been like oversaturated in roles recently, but I thought that he killed it in this first episode. And I was wondering about the accent, and then I realized that he's purposefully doing that accent, obviously to differentiate between the personalities, but then also the accent is not supposed to be, it's not meant to be perfect, because he's supposed to be putting that accent on like as a different personality.
Yeah, because it's, like I said, it's dissociative identity disorder, which is what the character is supposed to have, similar to like the character from Split.
Okay.
And in the comics, it mostly follows the Mark Spector character and follows his backstory, and in this they decided to switch it around and follow one of the other personalities kind of coming to realize that he's Moon Knight, as opposed to Moon Knight just already being schizophrenic and you kind of are having DID. I think they called it schizophrenia back when the comic was first coming out, but he's basically supposed to be Marvel's Batman. That's like the closest.
I heard that,
yeah, which is part of why in the comic the Stephen Grant character is like a wealthy playboy, and they changed that to be like a lowly gift shop owner, because they wanted to try to remove it from being compared to Batman.
That makes sense.
But that's kind of his thing, is he's the caped crusader of New York in the MCU.
And Moon Knight, Dark Knight.
I
mean, come on.
Yeah, and but I like that this show already doesn't seem to be really interested in connecting with the other stuff. I don't know how much it will later on, but so far it feels like its own isolated thing, and it's kind of refreshing at this point to not be constantly thinking like, hey, but how is this going to connect to everything else? I'm like, I'd be fine if this was just 6 episodes about Moon Knight and we never saw him again. If they're a great 6 episodes of this, and I know he exists somewhere out there. Kevin Feige has already talked about wanting to put him in movies if the show is successful, which is fine, but I'm like, I'm happy if this ends up just being a really awesome, obviously kind of horror influenced show. To me, it's the spookiest of the Disney Plus shows that we've gotten so far.
Yeah, so the Moon Knight character, Oscar Isaac's character, somehow gets this scarab from Ethan Hawke's village.
Yeah.
And now Ethan Hawke is after him, and so that's kind of what the first episode is about. Him finding out that he is, I guess, DID. Is that what you said?
Yeah.
And
he has another
and then
personality
Ethan
in
Hawke
there.
coming to find him and hunt him down to some extent, and then him embracing his other personalities.
Yeah, and I loved the way that they showed that, where he would like black out with the and then there would be the time jump, and he would suddenly have like killed a bunch of people, or he'd be driving backwards in the cupcake truck. And I thought a lot of the set pieces were great. I loved that he used a white Motorola Razor for some reason. I was like, yeah, hell yeah.
What about you? What were your thoughts on the whole thing?
I mean, like I said, I had a fantastic time with it. I felt like it handled the subject material very well. It didn't like make it seem like this guy was like a piece of shit for having like a disorder.
Yeah, it doesn't demonize the fact that he has this disorder. Yeah,
I thought that when, like I said, they handled like the transitions between the characters really well. I was also very intrigued by the museum because it's that sort of shit is always like piques my interest.
You're like, does all this shit come alive at night?
And they also did really cool things with just kind of like the little moment-to-moment stuff where like he's like the name of the episode about the goldfish. Like he realizes, oh wait, my goldfish only has one fin. Why does this one have two?
Why does it have two?
I thought the implication was that it was replaced, right?
Because he was gone for a few days and the goldfish didn't get fed.
And so the other guy
replaced it. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why when he goes to the pet store, she's like, "You were just here yesterday," and he's like, "No, I wasn't." And she's like, "Okay."
Because he's supposed to think it's one day later.
Yeah.
But I love that moment when he's sitting waiting for the steak dinner, and he's like so sad, and then she's like, "Yeah, fuck you, it's Sunday," and I'm like, "Oh, I feel so bad for him already. Like that's such a shitty situation."
Character's very sympathetic, which I totally love. Like I said, I don't feel overserved with Oscar Isaacs. I think that he's a fantastic actor. I really liked him in Dune. I forgot he was in Dune. That's probably why it's him and Timothée Chalamet. I'm like, you're in everything. Stop it. And then
Timothée Chalamet is in everything.
Yeah.
And then obviously he's fantastic in Ex Machina.
Yeah.
Right. And Annihilation, another one of your faves.
Yeah.
And our favorite Star Wars movies.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
He's one of the better parts of those. Poe Dameron's one of the better parts. They fly
now.
He's definitely not the worst part of those movies.
No,
well, sure as opposed to Morbius, I think we can safely say that we all three recommend checking out Moon Knight.
So far, yeah. Like I said, it's just this one episode, and so I don't know anything about it to really like, this is great. But I was intrigued. Part of that does come from my own personal interests because I do like the mummy stuff, and I used to be into ancient Egypt lore, so I was like, let's explore that shit. So that part was personal to me, and so I wanted more, but I don't know necessarily that somebody who wasn't into that kind of stuff would be like, give me another episode. They might not.
Yeah.
I have a little bit of bias toward it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought it was a ton of fun. I'm going to recommend that my sister check it out because, it is only the one episode. If you don't like it, it's not a big investment, but if you're into it, it gives you something new to watch week to week, which I'm always happy about.
What are your thoughts?
Yeah, like I said, I thoroughly enjoyed it. I'm very excited to wait for the next episode. If we don't end up talking about it, I might save a couple, so that way I can just binge through a couple.
I hear you.
Yeah, because the past couple of shows, I still haven't even touched Hawkeye yet.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
You haven't touched Hot Guy?
Yeah, no Hot Guy for me.
Now you have.
But yeah, so I think I would like to do a couple episodes off and then just
we can do that.
Blow through a few, but if depends on what we got going on.
I don't know if you can blow through right now.
Yeah. On that note,
that'll wrap it up, huh?
Yeah.
For this week's episode.
All wrapped up like Moon Knight.
What are we doing next week?
We don't know.
Oh, all right, cool.
Because we can't find anywhere that's less than an hour and a half drive to go fucking see that
everything
movie.
Everywhere all at once.
Yeah.
All right, well, people on video, thank you so much for watching. We hope this worked out. We hope that the sound was okay. If not, please let us know so we can try to make adjustments accordingly. If you're on the audio, thank you so much for listening. We will figure out what we're doing next week and let you know as soon as possible. But just stay tuned because it's such a fun show and it's so stupid and we love doing it for you. I have been Tone.
I've been John.
And I have been Venom. Just kidding. Internet darling Anthony at your service.
We'll see you next time.
Keep it creepy.
For exclusive episodes, early access, merch, and to support the show, head over to patreon.com/Porcelain Peak.
Thanks to all our patrons for the support, and special thanks to producers Chuck, Rob, Ashley, and Michael.
You can find Porcelain Peak on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, and TuneIn.
Wherever you listen, don't forget to rate, review, share, and subscribe so you never miss a thrilling episode.
Special thanks to Roger Jackson for introducing the show, and to Jeff For Real for composing the Porcelain Peak opening and closing song.
All content and episodes are written, produced, designed, and edited by the Porcelain Peak team, consisting of Anthony Perez, John Brasher, and Anthony Silva.
This has been here words for Weirdos Production.